All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. So we're gonna take another look at KULR and SOUNDHOUND. Really interesting to see what's going on with KULR here. All right, I feel it's a little insulting to the SOUNDHOUND people to say this kind of reminds me of KULR and SOUNDHOUND, but what I'm starting to see here is a lot of horizontal dojis. All right, and when I think of SOUNDHOUND on that early run, it was a lot of horizontal dojis. There was another one right there, a lot of horizontal dojis. A couple other moments where it just looked like that. And I will say I'm very surprised, and I mean that in actually a bullish way. I'm surprised this is able to stay horizontally. KULR, and I say this with no offense, this is a very parabolic stock. This thing goes up and then dumps down. For it to not do that, for it to go up and hold, that's interesting right there. And believe me, it's really hard for stocks that are relatively on the lower side of the price range to be able to hold. So still a lot of uncertainty. I still really don't know what the market thinks about the offering, but again, I'll talk about that in a bit. There's been some Bitcoin headline that I have not talked about with KULR on the last two videos. I actually don't care about that headline, that news. I don't think that matters. I really think the offering is actually still what's the open-ended question right now with KULR, all right? When we take a look at SOUNDHOUND, look, all I continue to see is a beautiful uptrend, a beautiful chart that is over all the moving averages, bouncing on the 8 like a champion, still over our golden line. Even the wick doesn't go below the golden line, right? But hey, there's some interesting things going on in the market. I'm going to start with the S&P 500, not actually the NASDAQ. I was a little worried about the S&P 500. Today was a nice candle. It very much was. We obviously want to see it confirmed, but S&P 500 is starting to get better. And then NASDAQ actually does look really good and never went. I said 19.6 on a couple videos. I actually started getting a little worried that we were going to lose the 19.6. So though it seems I was kind of right because I called the number, I did think we were going to lose it. No. Lo and behold, we had a beautiful, again, just pushing all-time high candle with the NASDAQ, right? So the one disjointment, though, is the Dow Jones. Dow Jones is actually now almost losing the 20 moving average. A little odd to say the least. I generally expect all three indices to move the same. You know what I mean? So I would at least say I'm comfortable with tech. Really, both of these are very tech heavy, right? But keep an eye out on that disjointment. I don't know why Dow Jones isn't as happy. I'll end it with, hey, CPI did come and go. There is a quick screenshot of it. The numbers look good. Things are good, and that's a good thing, right? Not only is that a good thing, you can see that they are still very much expecting the rates to drop. You can see we're up here at 450, 475. They're expecting it to come down to 425, 450. It is also the highest expectation and obviously the lowest for a hold in a pretty long time. So that's really nice to see, and it's obviously been going up since a little bit of a November scale, right? So overall, I'd say tech is looking good. Let's just make sure that these stocks hold the lines that they need to, right? So before we do go any further, though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So, I really want to start up here. I really want to talk about the offering. I'm going to start with volume because there was a really good back and forth question about volume. If you watched my last video, a big thing I said was we need around 50 million shares for this thing to do well. all right? On this day, this was the biggest of the volumes in the last couple days. It didn't even crack 30. You can see right there, it got to 29.7, all right? The way that I got to that 50 number, look, I'm ignoring the biggest one. I want the KULR volume to come back to the level of these three right here. All right. If we can get back up to that level of volume, I believe we will break 148 and go up. And again, I'll talk about my expectations up here, right? So when I kind of click roughly around the average, you can see the number right now I'm clicking on is 40, right? I would love to be this high. I would love to be in the 80s, maybe even 70s, right? 70 millions. But when I know that we're living down here, look, this day right here, you can see the volume is 19 million. This day right here is 20 million. It's a lot for me to ask for 70, let alone 80. That's a big 4x jump, right? I think I can ask for a 2x. I think we can get somewhere near that 40, 50 that I initially clicked on. And that's what I was looking for. The volume never hit. All right, I'm going to talk about that as I talk. Generally, when the volume, right, I'm zooming in, I'm getting rid of those big lines. When the volume struggles to get over the 50-day line, you don't stay horizontal, you drop. You lose moving averages, you lose supports, and you go. It is actually very bullish for KULR to stay horizontal. I often joke, if you're going to leave your money horizontal, just put it in the bank. You know, you're not going to get the gray hairs of worrying, is it going to go up or down, right? But hey, this horizontal is not bad. Again, no disrespect, right? But I'm just zooming out. Let's just let KULR goes up and down a lot. It goes up and down a lot. You know what I mean? There's, I guess, a couple longer horizontal moments than I was expecting when I zoomed out. But hey, even in this view right here, I guess I can take that back. There are a couple actual decent horizontal moments. There aren't a lot of horizontals up. I guess I wouldn't even say that. There's a decent one right there. Interesting. That's what happens when you do this live and not script the stuff before. I guess I'll take it back. Nonetheless, I do believe it. I think it's actually very, very surprising that it's holding, especially given the volume has been a little bit flat. Okay. What's going on and really what's catching my eye? So this is what I was flashing last time. Offering. Dun 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 dun. There was other offerings we were talking about. Sorry, give me a sec. Boom, right here. Okay. Let me know in the comments if this is incorrect, but it looks like the recent offering that happened was for 79 cents. Generally speaking, if the offering happens, and again, you can see it, it's dated around the 3rd, right? If the offering happens at 70 something cents and you're living at $1.14 to $1.30, generally you fall to the offering number. I am very, very surprised. And again, it's bullish that we're still living at $1.22, even though we know someone just paid 12 mil. I will never, knock on wood, maybe I'm wrong. I will never have enough money to put $12 million on a single share. You know what I mean? So some bigger roller than me, some real whale drops 12 million and we're not falling down there. That's interesting to me. You know what I mean? I think the other big thing that I think it's very, very bullish. Don't forget, in the beginning of this year, this was an 11-cent stock. It actually kisses 10 cents at the low of that February 9th wick right there, right? To go from 10 cents to banking 12 million at 80, that's a big win for a company like KULR. And again, hopefully they do good things with that money. They don't have to take any silly loans, this and that, right? Truth be told, markets don't like offerings. And again, that's why I keep saying I'm surprised we didn't lose moving averages. I'm surprised we're not down in the 70s or even lower. I'm surprised we're holding even though volume is basically not there anymore. And all that surprise just really means that's pretty bullish for this thing, all right? All that said, personally, I don't think KULR is going to be able to do anything until it gets over this candle. We need to get over $1.30 for me to start to believe we're going to go to 148. I kept saying on the last video, I think it was off of this doji, I'm surprised that bad red. And again, it's not horrible. We've seen uglier, right? But I'm surprised we didn't get a louder answer off that doji. Like I said, we're just living on a bunch of dojis, right? Do I like the fact that we're over the support? Like we've never lost that support? I do, for sure. I always say, look, these lines are computer generated. The 8 moving average is going to matter than some little random click I make, right? So I want that 130. That's going to get me over the only little green candle in this red, red, red channel. It's going to get me over the 8 moving average. I am really, really just, I don't want to lose that line. I've said if we lost that 116, it was going to be a quick fall to 92. I feel a little bit stronger saying 92 is going to hold because my 70 cent fears, again, my last video was on the doji. The 20 MA was down here when I thought, we might lose it and go. All of a sudden, the 20s come up. All of a sudden, I believe this 92 cents is going to hold a lot stronger than it would have. You know what I mean? So again, I still believe these two lines are 50-50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically 8 dojis in a row, I think very much highlights these two lines are very, very 50-50. And we either lose 116 and drop to 92, or we break 148 and we go to 190. All right. MACD is still green over red, right? But we see that the RSI has now actually slipped, and we see that there's a little bit of a curve going on. And hey, I don't know in the next couple days if the green's going to end up going down below, right? It is still all about volume. Volume heals all or makes bad things even worse. And today was actually especially bad because this was the lowest volume day over the last few, right? We went from can't hit the line, I'm glad we're over it, to oh man, look how far away we are from the line, right? So we must, I'm telling you, we must get near 40 million shares. That is what KULR needs for me to believe. Again, getting me closer to 130 is going to do that same thing, right? But I still don't know what's going to happen with these two lines. I'm telling you, it's still actually very 50-50 to me, all right? RSI is living very nicely horizontally. That's just one last thing to call out. But again, I think watch the volume, watch 130, watch 116. Those are basically the immediates. Let's take a look at the weekly really quickly. Oh man, look at this weekly, right? This is a difficult place to be on the weekly. And I think that again just emphasizes why we're seeing this 2 weeks of dojis, right? So 200 moving average, the last line. We are not over it just yet on the weekly. We are trying to, and just zooming out, zooming out, zooming out. The last good moment we were over it was back here in 2022, right? Even these right here weren't that good. Even these are back in 2022 as well, right? So literally, let me just get the view from right here, which is basically January 2023, we've never been anywhere near that 200 moving average line. That's a difficult line. It's the last one for a reason. That's hard. It's hard. And yeah, we're holding it well. Look how high the RSI is too, right? 80 is high. 85 is really high. 90 is ridiculously high. So, yeah, sorry, I'm thinking and looking real quick. Let me zoom out real quick. What's this line? I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't want to move this 92 cent line. I really like this 92 cent line. Where's the 116? Can I move this 116 line? Because you know what I just said? I like the 8 moving average a lot more. Yeah, let's do that. Let's move the 116 line. I'm okay. Man, that's too close to the 90s. All right, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. Bump, bump. Oh, I messed that up. Sorry. OCD right here. 19, 17, 16. Sorry. You saw what I'm doing, right? I really wanted to lower the line, the 116. I don't want to raise the 92 cent line. I don't. Maybe in the next couple trading days I can, because that's where the 20 moving average will be. I think for now that's an important line because you can see that's a pretty well drawn 50% candle right there. Maybe it's even a little low and it should go up a penny, but that's irrelevant, right? So cool. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come take a look at Soundhound, all right? And Oh my goodness. Listen, I know no one wants to see these last little couple. All I see is really, really good on this chart. We have broken all five and flown. We finally destroy. I mean, all of those things that we were talking about. That's what this looks like right here. Okay. The one thing I talked about on this Soundhound uptrend. Look, there are a couple ways of there are a couple ways of riding the 8 moving average. Okay, you go up and you come back to it, and then you go up and then you come back to it, and then you go up, you come back, and that's basically what it's done. The other way, and I use SoFi as my example, you go up, you come horizontal, you go up, you come horizontal, you go up, you come horizontal. Obviously, this is the nicer one. This one is riding and almost never losing the uptrend, right? With Soundhound, you know, that looks a little scary. That looks a little scary. That looks a little scary. End of the day, we're all the way up here, right? All we were doing was riding the EMA, just not as pretty as other ones, right? I kept saying, I'm here assuming we're going to just kind of keep doing that up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down until we're able to see a more consistent change, and I can start to believe it's going to do it like SoFi. Lo and behold, we've done it one more time, right? There's actually even a decent chance we're going to come down on tomorrow's candle and maybe even come, because you can see it, right? It literally comes to it, sometimes often even lower. It comes to it, right? It comes to it. That's still a little higher, right? I would say all of these come back to it are a lot closer to the line. So I can still see one more red candle potentially. Hey, look, as long as we don't lose the 8 moving average, as long as we don't lose the golden line, right? It kind of looks like those two are probably going to golden cross maybe tomorrow, right? That still looks uptrendy. All I can see is really good things. Hey, for sure, I'm a little disappointed that it's green over red and red over green, right? You should be in harmony. For sure, I'm a little disappointed that volume's slowing down instead of what looked like just constantly coming up and coming up and coming up, right? But hey, we're still over the 50 line. And really, NASDAQ, okay? I kept saying I'm really bullish, but hey, I talked about 19.6. I talked about some of my fears of losing 19.6. Lo and behold, we very beautifully bounce and go, right? So NASDAQ is looking stronger. I'm a bit annoyed that the Dow Jones is disconnected. Personally, I trade tech, so hey, end of the day, as long as NASDAQ's okay, I'm I guess relatively happy. But yeah, the indices should be in harmony. I don't understand why one of them is gapping up to all-time highs while the other one, and there's only three of them that I talk about, while the other one is talking about potentially losing the two lines, and there's a lot of green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 potential red, red, red in that Dow Jones chart right there too, and an uglier red over green on MACD RSI. Like there's just some things that are bothering me a little bit, but hey, the volume has been here, it's stayed here. The moving averages are doing their job. There's nothing else I can do except watch it, make sure it doesn't do anything otherwise. If we were going to slip below basically that 1260, I would guess this 1030 is going to be next. Maybe this 50% candle around 1177 will be able to hold, but I think this is a good line, especially given how strong that candle was in that channel. I think that's a good line. I don't even need to zoom out to see it. That movement right there makes me believe these were two decent lines right there. Put 1177 in your back pocket. 1090 is the one below. If we can get over, I'll take that. 1450. If this can gain a dollar, get back over 1450, we're just gonna keep on going up, up, up. All right. Where are we on the weekly? I can't imagine there's gonna be any extra weekly stuff to say. Yeah, I don't think there really is actually. The one thing I will say, so let's just look at this weekly chart. We come away from the 8 and we kind of violently drop. Away from the 8, violently drop. Away from the 8, violently drop. We haven't done it in a while, but we've gone away from the 8. Watch it, right? Hopefully things have changed. That 8MA is real low. It's all the way down. And by no means am I going to talk about $8 when I've got a bunch of lines up there, right? But yeah, even the 20 moving average is over that, right? But yeah, on the weekly, We've seen ugly things happen. Keep that in your back pocket. Hey, if Nasdaq's good, I think maybe it can help compensate things. But remember, stocks have a memory, right? We're not playing roulette here. This ain't this some little plastic ball rolling around. Stocks remember. That's why I believe in these lines and all that stuff, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so, so much.